After various reports by various outlets on U.S. children who are U.S. citizens being deported into other nations, Tom Homan, the U.S. border czar, spoke on Face the Nation this morning, addressing those concerns about that deportation of U.S. citizen children along with their undocumented mothers. Homan asserted that no U.S. citizen child, quote, was deported, emphasizing that deportation requires an order from an immigration judge. He stated that in these cases, and this is where it gets important, the semantics matter, the mothers chose to take their children with them, making it a parental decision rather than a governmental one. The statement comes amid scrutiny of a few things. Once, the removal of a 2-year-old U.S. citizen to Honduras with her mother and sister. The federal judge expressing that a strong suspicion that the child was deported without meaningful due process. The child's father had petitioned for her to remain in U.S. American citizen father, but the government cited in a letter from the mother requesting the child accompany her. No due process, no questions, no nothing. Advocates argued that the mothers may have felt pressure to take their children due to limited options and lack of communications or legal representation. In one case, a 4-year-old with cancer was reportedly deported without access to necessary medical care. This is not a one-off thing. This has happened in a few cases, apparently being brought to light this weekend. The Trump administration maintains that these actions were within legal bounds, emphasizing the importance of upholding immigration laws regardless of parental status. However, legal experts and civil rights groups continue to challenge the administrations and their approach overall, citing concerns over due process, you'll hear that a lot in these stories, and the rights of U.S. citizen children. So, Homan has a point in the work he's doing. His job is to protect the border, be the border czar, make sure the people who are across the border illegally are sent back. Now, just watching people cross back and forth is not what he's doing. He's pulling people in the low-hanging fruit, I've said often, which is what they're doing. But here's a point where he gets the semantics right, but the letter and the spirit of the law is where things get off. Now, in these cases we're hearing, these are women, these are mothers of young children who take their children with them when they get deported back to wherever they came from, which is there. The biggest issue is the children themselves in these particular cases tend to be U.S. citizens, born to one parent, their fathers, who are U.S. citizens, and where the breakdown comes apart is there's no communication. There's no phone call between the American father, who may want their child to stay here with them, and the immigrant foreign mother who wants to protect their child in cases. Now, in the case of the 2-year-old, there's apparently some issue where there's a custody battle going on anyway, which is a whole other thing. It's probably how they caught them in court because they're in court. But that's what the issue is. Give Homan his props, his credit for doing his job, but also give him his props for being kind of the coldest guy on TV. He has the same demeanor every time he does an interview, basically saying he's doing his job, they're getting rid of people. And that's what he's supposed to be doing, getting rid of people who should not be here. Now, most of the time he's talking about people who are killers and murderers, things like that. Not in these cases. These are people who shouldn't be here because they're not legal, and that's fine. But the question remains in the overarching thing about they're picking people, literally women, that weren't going to fight very hard and taking their kids with them, that the legal ease is some of their kids are actually U.S. citizens, and you're just deporting them across the borders and getting them back from there. Let's say the fathers have some clout. They probably don't, which is why this thing went this way. And they want to cause holy hell to get their kids back. Apparently, like everyone else, it's up to the other nation to send them back, which isn't going to happen. I know most of the response I'll get from the folks who follow here are, yay, Tom Homan. That's what you guys are do. But give me your real detailed comments on this one, what you think about this one. This is one where, like I said, I've been watching Homan do this stuff for a couple weeks, I guess 100 days or so now. And he's doing his job. He's doing his job well as far as the job description goes. And he's put up a great face for it. But here's a case where it's really, really hard to just say it just got to go really and continue on past that question. This is one where questions should be asked on what's going on, what's happening, and should there be a little bit of, I don't know if compassion's a word, but some sort of second look, common sense look at what's going on before the real legal challenges come, before it becomes to be you are a devil as opposed to you're just a bad guy. Your comments, very much warranted.